Now, to start my first video off, I thought I should pick a game from my childhood, and I assume a lot of yours, and that would have to be Crash Bandicoot. This game defined a whole generation of kids and what they love to play. Now, with Crash Team Racing getting a remaster, I thought I could come back and play this game and get pumped and excited for the new remaster to come out. My goal was to just get the nostalgic train started early, and I did. But I also then went for the Platinum Trophy for Crash 1, and that was a lot more difficult than I had intended. Now, if you just want to have fun, I would say don't go for the Platinum Trophy. But if you're a completionist like myself, you're going to have to go for it. And this is just a video of what it's going to be like. Now, to get the Platinum Trophy, there's really only two things you need to do. You need to get all the gems, so one for each level, and then get at least a gold or a platinum relic via the time trials in each level. And other than that, there's not much to it. Unfortunately, though, even after the first level, not even after the first, during the first level, the introduction level, you can already see that this is going to be one hell of a time. So let's look at this first level, and look at the one spot that took me about 20 minutes to complete. As you can see, you have like a row of boxes going into the screen, and you need to jump on all of them to break all of them, because you need to do this to get the gem at the end of the level. Now, this is hard, because it's not a side-scroller, so you can't tell how far you jump. The only thing that I learned after many times is that you can barely see the shadow on each box, so that's how you're supposed to, that's the indication of, I've jumped too far, which means you have to go backwards. Now, even then, it's still very hard, and you have to be extremely precise to get this right. And finally, after many tries, you're gonna get it. But I mean, this is the first level! Like, wait, if this is the first level and this is how hard it is to get a gem, how are we gonna survive the rest of the game? So, when you finally make it through, you're very happy, you're excited, and you feel good about yourself, because that took forever, and it probably shouldn't have, since it's the introduction level. But if you're normal, then it's going to take forever. Thankfully, not all the gems are as difficult to obtain as it was in the first level. Take, for instance, this Crash Bandicoot Raiders of the Lost Ark level. This is the classic. Honestly, when I think of Crash Bandicoot, this is the level I think about. And I think that's probably normal for most people, too. And that might be because I played Uncharted 4, and there was an Easter egg of this in it. And that might be it. But still, this is a good level, and it's easy to get the gem. You could get it first try if your reflexes are pretty good, and you don't screw up like I did. Up until this point, none of the enemies have been that difficult. You just press the square button near them, and they just die. But in this level, we meet the first annoyance of like enemy, and that's the shield person. The shield person, you can't spin attack him. Half the time, if you jump forward at him, he just pushes you back more than half the time. And then half the time, like at the beginning, when I got so annoyed, I was just spamming the X button, and I would just usually fall into the crevice that you had to jump over to get to him. And that was just annoying as hell. So the technique you want to use against this guy, I learned, is you just jump up, then forward. So just hold the jump button, and then you can jump. You want to make sure you get on top of him. If you're like any bit like on the same height as him, then you just get pushed back and you get pissed off as well. After the first few levels, you realize that getting the gems and breaking all the boxes of a level is even more difficult because of those silhouettes of platforms right there. Those platforms bring you to special hidden areas in the level which have more boxes for you to break, and you have to break to get the gem. To access these platforms, however, you have to have a special colored gem. Now, these colored gems are extremely difficult to get because you have to break every single box in the level they reside without dying. And that, for some levels, it took forever. And then some levels, like a few of them aren't that bad, but you still have to do it without dying, and that can get pretty hard. In the end, you probably need to memorize most of the level, but which isn't the worst because you're going to be playing it so much that you're going to memorize it anyway. Now, you also need to get these emblems of either the female Bandicoot, Dr. Nitrous Brio, or Dr. Neocortex. And if you find one of these emblems in a level, That means there's 2 more in the level of that same emblem, and if you get all 3, then a bonus round unlocks to you. And this bonus round will have boxes that you need to break in order to get the gem. A hint says that you can't lose lives if you like go down in a bonus round or you get blown up. But to get a gem, it says you have to get a special gem, it says you have to do the level, break all the boxes without dying. It doesn't say you have to lose a life. So I was a little concerned, but in the end, I was concerned for nothing, because you can die and go down as many times and retry the bonus round as many times as you want. As long as you don't die in the actual level, you can still get the gem. So you complete the bonus rounds, and then get the last box, and you get the gem. My mistake was trying to get all the gems through the first playthrough, which isn't possible because you need some of the colored gems to get the regular gems. So my advice would be, go through every level, not worrying about the gems, then backtrack, get the colored gems, then backtrack and get the regular gems. Now, once you get all the 26 regular gems, you can come to this place called the Great Hall, and you can get a true ending. A whole new world, a new fantastic point of view. Now we move to the second major test, and that is getting the relics via the time trials. Now, to get a relic, you have to complete the time trial, which means you have to grab that little clock there, and the worst part is that you can't die. If you die, you have to restart the whole thing, which means there's no checkpoints, and that is what makes these things so hard to get. Getting the relics is very similar to getting a colored gem. Now, you don't need to smash all the boxes like we had to do for the colored gem, but you're going to want to smash most of them. Basically the ones that have that stop the timer. So when I started trying to get the relics, I thought this was just going to be hell. But there is one piece of good news, and that is you don't lose lives when doing this. When you have the timer on, you can just keep on grinding and grinding until you finally get your goal of getting a gold or a platinum. In the end, the hardest levels to get the relics for are the longer ones. And that's because you have to just memorize so much. Some of them, like, it takes you... Like, the timer, when you get a good run, it's like 2 minutes. But you have to remember, you probably stopped the timer for a good, probably 40 seconds. So it's really like 3 minutes of straight memorizing jumps, patterns, and everything else about the course. Now, the hardest levels all seem to congregate at the end of the game, and they're hard regularly. And then, without dying and speed running it, it just becomes insanely difficult, and... It's miserable. But on the good note, you're in the final mile of the marathon that is Crash Bandicoot. So you just gotta keep grinding and memorizing. But even memorizing it sometimes doesn't even get the job done. This one I'm showing right now, the high road, is one of those instances where you not only have to memorize it, but you actually have to be like somewhat lucky in a way. So basically, you can land on the ropes on the side, but the problem is, just imagine, like, the width of a box, but divide it by 3. And that's basically the width of the rope. And if you can't, it's almost impossible to land on the rope. It's ridiculous. It's insane. To complete the level, you don't need to use the ropes, but to get the relic, to get the gold relic, you definitely need to utilize the ropes. And, because the thing is, some of these distances, I mean, they can all be reached using the turtle, like, shell as a boost jump, but a lot of them you can actually make just by jumping by yourself. But the thing is, you have to, like, almost walk off the plank. Like, right here. I am off the plank before I jump, and that's what allows me to make it to the next board. If I do it too early, then I die, like right here. Like, I thought I asked God politely for it to rain Wampa fruit, not bandicoots. This level is insane. Like, I thought I was gonna have nightmares from this, where I'm walking on a bridge, and then all the planks just start falling, and then all I hear is this for the next 10 minutes. Yeah, this is just really hard. I mean, you have to be lucky and skillful. The ropes, the thing is, like, if you, like, when you land on the rope, you almost feel like you're going to be sliding off, so you want to instinctively, like, jump. But the thing is, if you jump and then, like, land on it, it becomes almost infinitely more difficult to stay on it. Like, you almost just guarantee you falling off if you jump while you're on it. Like, and, I mean, you can see me jumping over the little statues there. And honestly, I feel like it's just luck if you just land. Honestly, a lot of times I literally didn't even land on it right, and I would just slide off. And these half boar, half dog things, the only way I feel like you can defeat these things, you can't defeat them on your own. You can either jump over them, or you can use use your Aku Aku mask that you get like near the beginning towards the middle, middle of the map. And honestly, I mean I feel like that is the best place to use it. If you're having a very fast run, then I would say try not to use the ropes because they are unpredictable as hell, to say the least. And they're very hard to control. And at the end, all the turtles are already upside down, so you don't have to waste time bouncing on them once and then bouncing on them again. Just use the turtles, finish the level, get the gold. Done. After the high road, you're in the clear because you just completed the crux of the game. Now, the lab is honestly by itself a pretty easy level, but when you have to do it fast, it becomes a lot harder. So you have these metal boxes that you need to spin to open doors and close, like, floor panels. Now, these electrical barriers get in the way of doing that before the door closes or before the floorboards, like, drop out. And honestly, when I finished it the first time, I got a 115. I'm like, all right. I mean, that's pretty good. I thought I was in the clear, but I was like, okay, Sapphire. So I'm like, the gold must be close. But no, the time you need to get is 56 seconds, and I literally was just like, what? I was like, are you kidding me? I was in shock. I mean, that's 25% of my time that I just got. I'm like, so I tried it again a few more times, and honestly, there's a lot of places that you could drop time that I didn't think of. Like right here, this TNT blow-up was huge. In the end, it was still just a bunch of memorization. Like, you had to memorize sometimes where the trapdoors were in relation to the electricity fields. Like, because sometimes the electricity field was before the trapdoor, and sometimes it was at the end of it. So you had to hit the box at different times, and waiting only for a split second, because if you wait any longer, you won't get the gold. Another big help was jumping to the sides of trapdoors, as some of these trapdoors are on timer-based. Instead of you hitting the box, they just stay open for 2 seconds, stay closed for 2 seconds. And that was a big help, because some of them, like, have electricity fields on them, and because the electricity fields and the trapdoor are not on the same timer-based, you have to, like, you need jumping to the side to be able to get through it quickly. All in all, getting the Platinum Trophy was not the most difficult thing in the world. I thought it was going to be a lot harder, and if they made us get the Platinum Relics, it would have definitely been a lot harder, but they only made us get the gold. Not only that, but I had a ton of fun playing this game again. It really has stood the test of time, and honestly, it just goes to show that just because a game is simple doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be bad. This game is just a simple platformer, but when the right developers are making it, it can be a ton of fun. Anyway, that's it for this video. This is The Crunch. I'm Colton, signing off.